again, I guess it wouldn't be called overgrowth then.
No, it wouldn't.
Did that, yeah.
We call it nicely trimmed lawn.
Yeah. In the bottom left, we have our Zerg player, 1 of 2. From Korea, he is Hyun. And we are synced up here with the Taiwanese casters, so they're doing their own intros here.
Yep, and they're the ones, of course, going out live here in Taiwan. Well, a good amount of people do understand English.
Over here in the upper right, in the red, from Taiwan, he's AK.
Having a lot of fun down here so far, Tasteless. Really enjoying myself, I have to say.
Yeah, me too, man. This is really cool to be down here in Taiwan. And it's a nice fusion between local Taiwanese players and Korean players.
Yeah, it's half and half, which is really cool. You know, the top 8 ranked Taiwanese players.
Sometimes we have tournaments and I'm like, well, these are all Koreans. It's all Korean here.
Oh, yeah.
And then we have other tournaments where I'm like, well, this is really cool because there's no Koreans. It's, you know, something.
Oh, yeah, that's
local,
something very
like an
fresh
Australian
also.
Tournament, you know, or something else. But this was a nice mix between the two.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, we have 2 very different build orders here. We have AK going for a quick pull, and we have Hyun going for a hatchery first.
So a little bit safer here from AK, but this is kind of the reverse of what happened last game, where AK went for the hatch first and Hyun went for the pool first. Thing is, you know, both of them are just going to be safe. They're going to end up in very similar positions, but Hyun gets a slight build order advantage.
So, here comes the gas now. We have to wait a little bit here at a ZVZ to see if they're going to do anything special. Beyond that, the matchup is pretty much, you can just look at the production tab.
Yeah,
for the time being.
A lot of ZVZ until the later game when you really have to watch the mini-map. A lot of it is the production tab. For any commentators out there that want to learn how to commentate ZVZ.
The secret to casting ZVZ is to simply read the production tab.
Yeah, you got to you look where they
diverge. The secrets of being an esports caster revealed here by Tastosis.
And then, of course, later game though, you got to watch that mini map for where the roaches are moving to.
Another secret to casting is wear gloves on your feet.
That's right.
Yeah, we have rubber gloves on our feet. Nobody knows that. They say,
nobody
how do they cast
knows that.
Well, the secret's in the fact that we wear rubber gloves on my feet.
Yeah, you got to keep those feet clean.
Yeah. Some of you might be saying, well, Tasus, can I wear mittens on my feet? Of course not.
What if your co-caster gets?
How would that help you at all?
If your co-caster gets an open wound, you're gonna have to stick your feet in there, and well, no, because you have gloves on, plastic gloves. Come on, Tasteless.
You know,
I can't use my hands. My hands are on camera.
One thing I would say, Artos, is I think one career we could never go into if we decided to stop being esports hosts is being feet models.
No, certainly not.
No,
not you and I.
No, I'm pretty sure we have. I don't know exactly what your feet look like, but I'm pretty sure they look like hobbit feet.
Not quite so hairy, but yeah, you're not that far off.
Good to know. Okay, so the game picking up a little bit now. I guess we don't have to talk about our feet. We have the Baneling nest coming up here for Hyun.
Now, is this a defensive or an offensive Baneling
I'm
nest?
not entirely sure so far. Well, we see 10 lings making, so I think there's a chance it's going to be offensive. 16, there you go.
Yeah, once you get up that high, that has to be offensive. You know, maybe you have 10 at home because you think he's going to attack, but he's going for the throat. But AK is doing a really good job defending this so far because he is about to have his spine crawler finish up.
Yeah. Now he's going to pull all the lings over here. He doesn't want to bring them out just yet because really it comes down to how many seconds can you delay your opponent from knowing that lings are coming. This is good for AK. He's getting a little wall in right here. He can jam that with the queens. Yeah,
with 3 queens out, a spine crawler, and a full wall in, that'll basically be built by the time these hit. This is looking pretty good for AK. I think he's going to be able to defend this relatively easily.
Okay, here come the Banelings and the Zerglings coming up now. Now the question is, can he slip through? He cannot. He's hitting the queen. The queen needs to be transfused.
Oh, and oh wow, he actually just detonates the Zerglings. The Banelings, they don't really do much there.
Okay, well this queen finally dies. Don't know if that was cost efficient or not.
Well, Hyun isn't going back to the drawing board, Tasteless. He's just making more lings. Okay, now he's starting drones, so we'll see if he actually ends up getting anything done, but it's pretty hard to believe, especially with any transfusions he's going to have.
All right, he does get in there. The Broodlings come in and block off most of those lings.
Oh man, nice targeting there by the queens.
And
ooh, a lot of lings
now into the main. He makes one Baneling over there by the ramp. Meanwhile, trapping that queen, nicely done. The Baneling's been detected just yet.
Well, this is very nice for him to actually end up killing a queen. Now, will that Baneling finish up and will he get anything done with it? That's the next question here. One more Zergling gonna run out, but it looks like, I would say overall, that wasn't really that effective.
No, I mean, that was one of the less effective Ling Painling all-ins we've seen in a while, I think. He's got the roaches out now, AK does. Let's see your drone count for these guys. Looks like AK's actually behind 35 drones to 42. I don't believe there were a lot of drones killed, though, in that attack.
No, there wasn't a lot killed, but
queens were killed, but drones not so much.
He had to, you know, make queens and spend his money on buildings, and so that was definitely where some of them went. In the meantime, we actually have Hyun starting to turn over a bit. He realizes there's a lot of roaches out, and he doesn't really have great tech to deal with them.
Yeah, let's see. You know, one thing we did see in the last game, which I think is probably going to be a factor here, is mechanically Hyun just seemed to be superior. So even though Hyun has made a very ineffective play here, you know, with the Ling mailing attack, there's a chance Hyun might just be able to get to that end game Zerg setup so much quicker and more effectively than AK. This might be one of these games where even though Hyun's attack wasn't that effective, later on we're just going to see Hyun ahead anyway.
It could be, but I really like how AK is doing this, right? He's getting his upgrades. He's not trying to go and push an attack right now. Instead, he's getting a nice, quick roach speed as well. And I think he's going to have some pretty strong map control. It's hard to imagine him having a weaker army for quite a while, so Hyun could be in a little bit of trouble because of this, especially with this quick third base from AK.
Yeah, you beat me to it. The third base there. The fact that Hyun can't really do anything about that right now.
Yeah.
That could be a problem. But Hyun getting a third base just shortly behind AK.
That's right. AK will see that. But you know what? When this roach speed is done, and he's going to have his +1 attack done as well, if he has the same number of roaches or more roaches, he can go down and kill it. Because Hyun is going to be slower on both of those upgrades. His hatchery is slower as well, and AK just does have more units right now.
Okay, the Overlord is... The Overseer is going to just barely get out here. And
ever so barely.
Yeah, 9 HP, 10 HP now on him. Or her, if it's a she Overlord.
All right, well, he's about to have speed finish up as well as that +1 attack, so it looks like it's time for AK to move out across the map, but he's making drones behind this, so this is only a poke.
Yeah, he's not going to try to do a killing blow here. And meanwhile, Hyun actually with 9 roaches in production.
Yeah, he realizes he has to make a lot of roaches because this could be just him going all in on this base. He might just be putting every resource he has into roaches. Of course, we can see it's not the case. Just going to put on this pressure. Let's see what he can get done. He actually has more roaches at the moment.
But don't forget, those 9 roaches are hatching now. He does back up, and then, so the roaches have to back up here as well. And Hyun just comes in now and is hitting these roaches. And again, this base cannot be taken out since AK was not reinforcing it. And look at the supplies, Tosis. Hyun is catching up.
This
is what I was talking about earlier. We might just see Hyun. It's like Hyun can just lift bigger rocks or something, you know?
yeah.
Like the raw strength, his ability to macro and keep on top of his upgrades is just so good that a lot of the tactical plays we see here and army exchanges are almost less meaningful than the fact that Hyun just makes stuff quicker.
You know, a lot of these top Korean players, they're basically like that Terran girl that runs the command center that has all cords coming out of her head to control everything. They're basically like that. They're like one with StarCraft, and just like every little timing of drones and units is perfect here, and that's really why he's caught up. But AK is still doing a very good job. He's actually up in drones right now, and he is still, in fact, up in supply. He's also got his upgrades just a little bit quicker. So this game definitely not over yet. Even though Hyun has caught up in supply overall, AK is staying just slightly ahead in everything.
Okay. Hyun now coming down. And I think that's important to note, too, Artos, is Hyun hasn't taken a lead by any measure. He's just been catching up fairly well.
Yeah.
AK, though, still, if he can keep what he has now and deliver a powerful attack, it could put Hyun back in the Stone Age here.
Yeah.
And from there, possibly bring us to game number 3.
Well, he's AK right now moving across the map. Can't really attack up into that. The one way that this could really go poorly for him is if he attacks into a similar number of roaches at Spine Crawlers and Queens, because the Spine Crawlers and Queens will add just so much damage and healing that it'll be really difficult. But oh my god, that's a very quick burrow movement, Tasteless!
Okay, he's coming up now. This could get a very good angle on him. The roaches are actually right under this army, but the Overseer's not done yet.
Oh my god.
I can't believe they actually just slipped through there because that Overseer just finished.
Oh, he sees them. He realizes what's going on, doesn't he?
Yeah, he knows.
Yeah. It's really important that happened. Now he does have some other roaches over here. Look like they want to take out the Queen. In the meantime, AK trying to poke up. Some really good play by AK here.
Okay, AK now hitting in multiple places at once right now. This is actually a tricky one to follow here. We had harassment at the third, the main, I believe the second, and now here this outpost between the second and the third.
Yeah, AK actually multitasking very well. He's all over the place, but Hyun coming up with a lot of roaches. Uh-oh, a lot of AK's roaches not attacking behind here. Hyun getting some good surface area. AK brings up his roaches now, and it's a very even fight.
It looks like on the right side and the far left side, Hyun's starting to get an edge here. There's just a little bit more roaches. We don't see enough reinforcements coming down here right now for AK. AK tries to back up Hyun, still taking out more roaches in the back, but this is important as well.
Yeah.
We have additional roaches that have been killing drones this entire time.
Oh my
in fact,
God.
Drone count right now in favor of AK 62 to 47.
That's gigantic, and not only that, we just saw pathogen glands finish up. That's gigantic for AK. He needs to be very careful. If he loses his roaches, he'll lose the game, but if he keeps them alive, he's good to go.
He's targeting down this hatch, though. This might be a mistake because the roach count's going to be so low, but he burrows. He's now moving out. Really nice play. There was no overseer there. Now AK comes in, harasses that second, and then backs out. Now it's really important, as you were saying, he needs to keep his roaches alive.
He literally needs to go home and turtle. That's all he needs to do because he has infestors popping out. He has a smaller roach count, but he's done a ton of damage. So if he just turtles and Hyun can't do any damage for a little bit, AK will take this game with ease.
Okay, we see the roaches coming down now and taking out that one roach there at the bottom. I think you're 100% right, Artos. It's all AK has to do is just turtle. Just turtle and make stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then wait until you can't make stuff anymore.
Yeah.
And attack with that stuff that you've all made.
Oh, man.
Win that game.
It's a good strat. A lot of players play like that. And that's what he should be doing here, Tasteless.
Yeah. The roaches are going to come down now. And I think this is okay because he's basically maxed out.
How many infestors does he have? I think he has like 2?
I think it's 2. I think you're right.
Okay. Hyun just trying to get some more mobility here so his units can react a little bit quicker.
Now, you know, Roach v. Roach, it really is all about the positioning of the army when they engage each other, since roaches don't have a lot of range. So if you're in a spot where your roaches can all attack and your opponents, they have some roaches running around in the back, trying to just find a way to fit in there.
Oh, my God.
Like, for instance, this angling right now, really good for Hyun.
Yes, it certainly is, but there are 3 infestors in here which can change everything. These guys are
Here
tied
we
on
go.
supply. Yeah, indeed. Those are some very nice fungals going down. 3 fantastic fungals throwing down his infested Terrans as well. Not too many of those going to retreat. These infestors, really good play. But Hyun burrows!
Oh my God, and the Hyun burrows. More roaches, by the way, popping up for Hyun, coming down here to reinforce. It looks like AK might just have too many roaches here. I do like the burrowing to reposition his army.
This is pretty crazy, man. Hyun does burrow again, pops back up, and he is whittling down AK's army. Of course, his rally points are a bit quicker. Hyun has more roaches right now, and it looks like he'll hold on.
Okay, Hyun survives. Supplies 122 to 108.
Yeah.
And this is a smart move by Hyun. Look at this. Hyun's going to take the gold base.
Okay, this is how he wants to...
Wait a minute. You actually held up your attack? You're having to retreat? I'll take the gold base then. Yeah,
and it's big to have that gold base, but we already have a 4th up for AK, which is important to note. The thing is, the gold base, much more important, much more powerful in ZVZ because you don't have to have as many workers, which means you can have a higher army supply of the same units. So we'll see how that works out for him, but already AK has transitioned into Hydralisks. He didn't lose his infestors. He did a good job in that fight and has his 4th up quicker, so he is still in the lead here.
Yep, Hyun, I gotta say, he's been doing a good job playing on his back foot here for most of this game. We see him now coming up here. I don't think Hyun should be attacking in here. This is definitely, if he's going to clear up creep, that's one thing, but any moves further north than that.
Oh, look at this. AK is all over the place, man. He sees the roaches coming. Before they get there, he's going to be able to clean that up. Hyun right now wants to do some harassment.
This is exactly what AK needs to do because the only way Hyun's going to come back for the time being is to harass at a bunch of different little locations and start to whittle down the drone count.
Well, he is starting to do so. AK losing a few drones here and there. He's down to just 50, but Hyun's been at 49 for a bit. So a pretty even drone count, but again, that gold base just popped up, and that's going to give Hyun a lead.
Okay, so the roaches here for Hyun. He's just repositioning them here in the middle of the map. Both players actually have a really good idea of what's going on the map everywhere here. Overlord spread really good. This is what you got to do in a roach versus roach game. It's really all about out-positioning the army. And we see Hyun now coming up here. Whoa!
Oh!
Did not get that fungal to connect there. Nice dodge by Hyun.
That was like a three-pointer fungal. It was like airballed, though. Right now, we do see him picking off a couple roaches there. This huge group of roaches, oh my god, he's going to be able to pick off just about anything he wants with these. But if some good fungals land, it could change everything for Hyun here.
All right, AK's coming in here from the bottom. He's going to surround on this army. And this is actually a tricky one to follow. The upper left fight is being won by Hyun. The center fight here in the middle of our screen is being won by AK.
Yeah, he's kind of crushing it with these extra Hydras.
I don't think our observers caught it, but in the upper left, it looks like there's some harassment over there where the drones are, so that's important to keep in mind. Also, the gold base is now up and running for Hyun.
And look at that burrow movement. He goes around, snipes those infestors, but of course, with the Hydras and the roaches, he will be able to fight this off for now. Good snipes, though, by Hyun, getting a lot of value out of killing those infestors.
Okay, the roaches are coming down now. And it looks like Hyun's going to have to regroup. Now, keep in mind, with the gold base being mined from, there's, oh my god, okay, he's actually going to get that hatchery. That's also a big game changer.
Wow.
If Hyun just stays back and defends after taking out this hatch, in fact, he's doing so well over here, he killed that roach and then went back to kill the hatch because he's so confident his opponent can't get him.
Oh god, look at what we're seeing right now. Hyun is actually running by with his roaches. He needs to do this because he needs to buy time. Otherwise, AK could break his gold. That's exactly what Hyun needs to hold on to win this game. And AK is giving chase.
And this is working out really well. He's even, the moment he said he's using a bro, he does that, then he backs up. And really, this is just keeping AK unable to lead. Nice fungal.
Seriously.
Okay, but he's running. Barely whiffs that fungal. That's too bad because if Hyun could get back and regroup, just make a few more roaches. He's got 11 pumping out right now.
We need to see an attack by AK, which could turn us into a weird base race situation. But, you know, chasing these roaches all day, Hyun can easily replace them because he's mining from that gold base right now, whereas AK doesn't have a fourth anymore.
Hyun now going down. I think Hyun wins now. I think it's been long enough.
Well, he's definitely taken the advantage now, that's for sure. But the unit composition definitely still goes to AK in a completely straight-up fight. He wins with the infestors and a few Hydras mixed in.
Let's see what happens now with this attack over here. Again, no Hydras in Hyun's army. Hyun actually also attacking the third. She's getting the queen. I thought he was going to at least try to get some more drones there, but I guess not. And this means a third right now. For AK is, or the fourth, excuse me, for Hyun is going to go down as AK tears forward. He might even be able to get the third base down here as well. And
he actually skips chasing that, and in fact comes up. A nice fungal growth going down. Can he get a couple more? Another good one going down as well. His Hydra's starting to add a lot of damage into this battle. Can AK knock out this Hyun army?
The hatchery is very low, but it looks like it's going to have to be the units all eliminated before it can be taken out. And we see too many drones here. Is he going to try to target on the hatch in the last second? I don't think so.
No.
And that means that Hyun is going to take a huge lead here by keeping that base. You can even see Burrow trying to be used by AK ineffectively.
It's, you know what, AK has played a beautiful game, but in these last moments, Hyun running around the map, killing off his fourth base, sending a small roach squadron around to buy himself time. He's outmaneuvered AK, but AK, I mean, this was he played really well, Tasteless, I have to say. Very impressive. He almost had Hyun dead.
He's going to come up now, and it looks like this could be the killing blow, Artosis.
Yeah.
This is 90 supply to 140. I got to say, AK really showing us he can hold his own against Hyun. Unfortunately, Hyun, the longer he's in the game,
the more likely he's going to win.
More likely that he's just going to win simply by his mechanics, and this is really where you see, in a lot of ways that aren't exemplified, which is Korea versus Korea. We see Korea versus the non-Koreans. Why the Koreans
mechanics
are so good.
Yeah, the mechanics really do show through. Like, Hyun just is such a beast at getting these units out. So, you know, that was really well done. And you know what I was talking about earlier? He's stubborn. He stays on roaches. And the thing is, AK did get up into Hydras and infestors. So Hyun was at a disadvantage in that regard, but he knew how to move them around. He was really mobile with them, picked off what he had to pick off.
All right, well, this is painful to watch, Artosis. These are drones counterattacking.
Yep. The last moments of AK's life in this game.
Okay, it looks like AK taps out GG as Hyun moves on to the round of 8 here in this tournament.
Yeah, very well done by Hyun, keeping his cool even when he was behind in that second game. And the Taiwanese already showing that they are not going to take this sitting down, man. They are fighting for their wins.
You could see AK definitely knew what he was doing. There were just moments where Hyun's, just massive amount of experience was just too much. GG.
If I ever played one of these, if Hyun beat me, I would hold my door handle so he couldn't get in. I think Genius did that once, didn't he?
Oh yeah, I think he did. I think he did it
So
at DRG
funny.
or something.
Yeah.